Happy February, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Tranquility Podcast, Episode 1. My name is Jasmine Maya Royce, and this is the first episode, and I decided to do it on a third-year anniversary for me. February is a special month. No matter what you celebrate and what you worship, you can see it all around. It's a month of love. And for me, we're going to focus on our own worthiness and self-love. This is my exploration of figuring out what's important to be here and be alive, and celebrating every day in our interesting lifestyle, our ambitions, our perspective, our healing, our health, our vitality, our nurturing, our support, and basically our overall mental and physical well-being. And this comes from and out of a journey that I have experienced about 3 years ago in February on, funny enough, we would say leap year day, which is a day until next year that doesn't really exist. So I keep it in an illusion factor that it was reality, but also different. So when you think about life every day, it gets stressful. It gets overwhelming. It gets too much sometimes. You get burnt out too easy. Doesn't matter what age bracket you're in or what level of journey, it's always somewhat of a struggle. And I have been in that struggle, or we would say the rat race, because I find myself in Los Angeles and then I lived abroad in London. I was ambitious and driven, and I was achieving things that I was proud of. But even though I didn't give myself enough credit for all these achievements and all these experiences I had, one day I had to step back and realize that I was doing okay just because I was here. So from my journey, I had a near-death experience. I was accidentally hit by a car on Olympic and Bundy Boulevard in Los Angeles, and I spent my time having a pseudo coma, you would say, which is fun. A lot of medication, a lot of surgeries, a lot more than I was anticipating. I was lucky that I was already very healthy and in a good shape to take on the understanding that I was given. So from that, I've never really been an asker. You know, some people learn how to ask for what they need and want and speak clearly. I hadn't really learned that aspect. I didn't really know how to communicate my needs to either friends, relatives, or anyone that was close enough to me, because it takes a little bit of vulnerability, which, you know, if you love Brené Brown, she talks about vulnerability. And I've listened to that because I listened to every one of her Audible books, her TED Talk when it first launched, her HBO Now Max series, which I'm happy that she's successful. And she has her own amazing podcast too. And she talks about a lot of experience about finding the words and the vulnerability to ask and convey what you're going through. And most of my life, I'd hid that factor. I hid my experience, my stress, my inabilities, my unworthiness, my insecurities, my unproductive phase, my self-loathing, my procrastination. I mean, we all have these things. And so when you get, I guess, awakened, or you have an accent that makes you feel alive and grateful every day that you're here, it was very eye-opening to experience the amount of love and appreciation from everyone in my life that I've touched and affected. And it was nice. It's like, I'll make it in a laughable context. It's like going through your own funeral when you're still alive and kicking. It's like a massive amount of people that you have affected and are so grateful for what you have done for them and also what they have done for you. And my family, I have to give an immense amount of gratitude and appreciation for, especially my brother and his fiance that ended up taking care of me when I come out of the hospital. So unfortunately, I was in a coma for around 2 months and then woke up in, I would say, a non-clear perspective, a lot of medication. And before this podcast, I have been working in radio. I guess you would say my 20-year anniversary of being in radio as a presenter, as a producer, and audio ambition. So it was interesting that you lose something that you didn't think was a gift. I lost my ability to speak. I lost my ability to converse and use complex wording. I lost a lot of understandings that is a normal experience in a day for me. It took me a long time to learn how to use a computer again, or to figure out the right words to communicate what kind of emotions I was experiencing. And I'm lucky that these people sat with me. And it takes an immense amount of strength and patience. It's like having a child, but a grown adult child that you don't even know what kind of emotions they're experiencing, and they can't really tell you because they're trying to put the words together. And it's not really a clear, thought out, full sentence. It's erratic and can be bipolar and all over the place. And I think at one point I turned to my brother, who, when I woke up, we were in the middle of the pandemic, and I didn't understand that my family had been there the entire time that I was in a coma, because you kind of know the energy is there, but you don't really know because you woke up and there's no one around. And in my mind, I thought it was only a day, not an immense amount of time. But it wasn't that long, I would say that. I had, in terms of operations, what's called a craniotomy and a cranioplasty. This is when they remove items from your skull, and then I jokingly say that you pop them back in. A lot of military people have had those experiences, and I understand that it's an unusual, actually it's brother's fiance did some research on the idea of what it was and how long this kind of an operation has been going on since the ancient Egyptians, which I find fortuitous because I've been invested and love anything about Egyptians and Egyptology. So in my experience, you learn to appreciate the tiny things immensely more than you realize. As a day-to-day activity, you're still here. And my brother was all about, when I got out of a recovery that he set up for me and he put it all together, that I had the right clinicians helping me for speech therapy and a PT trainer and everything for a couple months to get my feet literally back on the ground. So in that, when I came and had to stay with them, he was invested in watching the news about COVID. And to be honest, I realized that I couldn't take it. I'm lucky that I have done a lot of research myself about the understanding of healing and how to heal yourself. And that comes from research and me being inquisitive, because I've been a journalist for most of my life. And that comes from research and reading things and books that inspire you and people that inspire you. So I understood that I couldn't watch anything serious. News is amazing information, but it is fear-based. And sometimes you need to step back. And I was like, to heal myself and to feel like myself, I need the happy stuff. I need all kinds of comedy. I need all kinds of funny things that I can laugh about and I can cackle and I can be a child and never lose this childhood self. Never lose what makes you remember to be a kid every day. If you have kids now, it constantly reminds you of the idea of imagination and dreams and creation. And that comes now when you're older, about a mental understanding. Your life, your dreams, your desire, your motivation, your imagination is what creates your daily life. And from that, you need something that keeps you on a higher vibration. So bear with me, both of them, when I made them watch Disney and funny shows and all kinds of cartoons and anything that would make me giggle, because that's how you move forward. And This understanding is a research and development about your day-to-day life. And I want to bring together a lot of people that are going to give you the information about how to take care of your body, that's your temple, how to pamper yourself, take care of yourself, how to find your meditation, your Zen zone, or your tranquility, and how to achieve taking care of your health and nutrition. These are all factors when I talk to people that are pseudo-retired or leaning towards that direction. And I get a lot of people that are saying, I want to travel the world. Like, I've been dreaming about seeing this place and that. And I can't deny that traveling is amazing. But if your body is not in physically fit shape, going abroad and excursions, if you've been there, you know it's going to take some gusto. It's going to take you either having a lot of money or enough that it's comfortable for you and you can walk around. I think I went to Paris as part of my anniversary, and I love Paris. It's amazing. But the thing about it is, on average, I was walking around 30 miles a day. And you compared to that for most people that are Americans, and you drive around, that or plus a day, you don't put in those steps unless you're a gym person or you love running or you love hiking. And I love hiking. I love movement. I love, when I lived in England, what we call an evening constitutional, going out and appreciating the sun going down and walking off what you ate that night for dinner. So I hope you will join with me and experience this podcast as an element of research and taking care of everything that makes you you and feeling great every day going forward. So thank you very much for tuning in. My name is Jasmine Maya Royce, and this is our first episode on Tranquility podcast. And I hope you buckle up and you're in for the ride. We'll see you soon.